Hello everyone, welcome to our review of Season 3, Episode 9 of Gotham, titled Mad City, The Executioner. Before I go any further, I just want to say there will be spoilers in this review. Well, it looks like my assumptions or hopeful predictions from the previous review are in fact not true. Edward Nygma's new girlfriend of sorts, Isabella, is in fact dead. She did in fact get killed by the Penguin, as we saw in the previous episode, and I was cautiously optimistic that they didn't kill her off, but I guess my hopes were dashed. And as a result of her death, we come to find out that Edward Nygma is slowly starting to put together the pieces and trying to figure out who in fact did kill her. And in this episode, he comes to the assumption that Butch is indeed the one that did it, because Butch wants to get vengeance on him for what happened in a few episodes ago. What he hasn't figured out, it is in fact that her death is a result of the Penguin and not in fact Butch, which I assume that he will figure out pretty soon, probably the next episode, at the rate this show is going in plot progression. Speaking of plot progression, in this episode, they right away went with Captain Barnes being revealed as being infected by Alice's blood. I assume that they would have taken a few episodes, but Gotham this season is moving very rapidly when it comes to their plots. And in this episode, we right away get a clash between Jim Gordon and Captain Barnes. Jim Gordon is very suspicious. He kind of figures it out right away that Captain Barnes is in fact the one who murdered that doctor in the previous episode. And he also figures out kind of quickly that he is indeed infected by the Alice blood. And I have to say, Captain Barnes really went from 0 to 60 very quickly. In this episode, he was doing really dark and evil stuff. I mean, granted, he was murdering people who were not exactly great people to begin with, but still, he was throwing away the law, throwing away any type of due process, any type of procedure, and just straight up murdering these people. And now he is stuck in Arkham, very much in a psychotic state. And who knows when and if he'll pop up again later on in this season. I probably think he will, because it was kind of a main character having a turn from good to bad. Granted, Barnes was always kind of rough around the edges, but still, this is going from, kind of good to very bad very quickly. But while all of this stuff is going on, we get to see what is going on with Bruce Wayne, Selina Kyle, and Ivy. Ivy, who is now transformed into an older version of her mentally younger self, which is still something that I think bothers me, as well as bothers a lot of other viewers of the show. And in this episode, it was kind of awkward, because we see kind of this adult woman with a child-type mind, and it's rather disturbing to a certain extent, because she really doesn't understand what's going on. And she gets herself in a lot of trouble, so she has to come and reveal herself to her old friend Selina Kyle, who of course is kind of involved with Bruce Wayne romantically or something like that. And Bruce Wayne, who is really taking a forefront when it's trying to help people, specifically people that he cares about, in this case, Selina Kyle. And they get themselves in kind of a little trouble or a little trap when it comes to, I believe these are emissaries or members of the Court of Owls. I could be way off when it comes to that, but it seems like these are Talons, or at least some type of versions of Talons. I'm assuming that we will be getting more information about the Court of Owls pretty soon. Overall, I have to say that this was a pretty good episode of Gotham. I really liked what they did with Captain Barnes, and we also got to see a little bit more of Bruce Wayne and what he is doing. I think they took a couple episodes off when it came to his plotline, but now it's picking up back again. I like what they're doing with the Court of Owls plotline. I think they're going to have to hinge on that heavily for the season when it comes to the Bruce Wayne character, because he's not doing very much right now. Hopefully they'll advance his combat training with Alfred soon and stuff like that, because he needs to start progressing a little bit more as a character. Also, I'm once again still banking on the fact that Jim Gordon and Lee Tompkins will eventually get back together. I think that is going to happen. As you saw in this episode, in the aftermath of the Captain Barnes problem, they were able to come together and kind of have a nice little simpatico with one another. There is still emotion there between those two characters, and I think we will see them get together at some point this season. And it was also interesting that she was able to really go out on a limb for her and really put her career and reputation on the line when it came to actually forging those medical documents about Captain Barnes. So with all that being said, this has been my review of Season 3, Episode 9 of Gotham, titled Mad City, The Executioner. If you like this video, please check out my other episode reviews for the other comic book related television series.